In a deeply troubling case that unfolded at Liverpool Crown Court, Ashley Derbyshire, a 28-year-old resident of West Horton, Bolton, was sentenced to 15 years in prison for orchestrating a series of heinous sexual offences against 5 underage girls between 2016 and 2018. Derbyshire, who admitted guilt to 19 charges, including 3 counts of rape, 12 counts of sexual activity with a child, 3 counts of inciting a child to engage in sexual activity, and 1 count of taking indecent photographs, was identified as the ringleader of a predatory group that exploited vulnerable young girls. His actions, marked by a chilling lack of remorse, have left lasting scars on his victims, one of whom bravely shared the profound trauma she endured in a victim impact statement. The court learned that Derbyshire first encountered one of his victims when she was just 13 years old, and he, at 19, was fully aware of her age. Over time, he manipulated her, fostering an infatuation that he exploited to perpetrate and facilitate abuse. Prosecutor Ben Lawrence described Derbyshire's behaviour as demonstrating a casual disregard for the girl's well-being, allowing other members of his group to engage in sexual activity with her. Judge Simon Medland, in delivering the sentence, condemned Derbyshire's coldly sexual treatment of the victim, noting it was devoid of any warmth or affection. The judge praised the courage and fortitude of the young girl who gave evidence during the trial, in stark contrast to the dishonest and fanciful accounts provided by the defendants. The case revealed a broader network of abuse, with many of the offences occurring at or near a house in Blackrod, near Wigan. In an earlier trial, 8 other men were convicted of abusing the same girl, who was between 13 and 15 years old at the time. The prosecution described the group as a malign friendship group that preyed on the victim, showing little regard for her consent or well-being. She believed herself to be in relationships with some of the men, a delusion they callously exploited. Another member of the group, Ross Corley, aged 30, had previously pleaded guilty to 2 counts of sexual activity with a child, further underscoring the scale of the exploitation. In her victim impact statement, the girl laid bare the devastating toll of the abuse. She spoke of enduring relentless mental anguish, stating that she would rather be dead most days than live with the memories of her ordeal. Addressing Derbyshire directly, she described how he destroyed her in every conceivable way, stripping her of her sense of self when all she had as a child was her body and identity. She recounted how her initial feelings of love turned to fear as Derbyshire manipulated her with precision, exerting a hold over her that lingers to this day, leaving her questioning why she fell under his control. Derbyshire, now on the sex offenders register for life, offered a chilling "Thank you, Your Honour," as he was led away to begin his sentence. 3 other members of the group were also sentenced in connection with the case. Brandon Harwood, 25, from Bolton, received a 10-year prison term after being found guilty of 1 count of rape, 1 count of attempted oral rape, and 1 count of sexual activity with a child under 16. Harvey Aspden, also 25 and from Bolton, was convicted of 2 counts of sexual activity with a child under 16 and received a 15-month suspended sentence for 2 years. Ross Corley, in addition to his earlier guilty plea, was sentenced to 28 months in prison, issued a sexual harm prevention order, and placed on the sex offenders register for 10 years. 10 other members of the gang were scheduled for sentencing on subsequent days. Detective Inspector Samantha Parry, the senior investigating officer, expressed relief at the outcome, emphasising that the abhorrent individuals responsible for these crimes were now off the streets of Bolton and behind bars, where they belong. The case stands as a stark reminder of the devastating impact of grooming and exploitation, with the bravery of the victims and the diligence of law enforcement bringing a measure of justice to those affected.